A very good morning to you, Nigeria. I am Pat Aitu, and it's absolutely fantastic to be here with you this beautiful Wednesday morning.
And RT, good morning from me, Yemi Adelako. It's great to have you tuned into Dominion Television. We've got a packed show for you today designed to get your day off to the perfect start.
Well, indeed, Yemi, good morning.
Good morning, Pat.
Good morning. And we are diving straight into the heart of the day with our essential daybreak news. We will bring you all the headlines you need to know from around the country and across the globe.
Following that, we'll be dissecting the stories making waves on the front pages of today's newspapers with our insightful newspaper front pages and our news analysis segment. You won't want to miss our take on what's driving the conversations in Nigeria.
Then get ready to be inspired. Our big story today features an incredible Nigerian adventurer, storyteller, and content creator who is literally redefining exploration. We are talking about Ibade Joy Ujo, who is on a monumental mission to complete the longest solo motorcycle journey across Africa. A story is truly captivating. Watch out for it.
And for our sport enthusiasts, stay tuned for all the latest updates in the world of athletics, both local and international, in our sports segment from our correspondent, Buluwaji Ogumola. Plus, we'll be unwrapping the buzz from the Nigerian entertainment scene with all the celebrity gist and happenings in Trend Watch.
All right. Good morning once again, Yemi.
Good morning, Pat.
So how are you?
I'm very well.
I can feel that from your voice and your look too. You look gorgeous this morning.
Oh, you look dapper.
Well, blessing in disguise, some people would say, concerning Bacha's loot. But to my own end, I feel it's a blessing in disguise. And of course, I am not actually using that medium or what I said, my statement to say, okay, maybe our politicians should be corrupt by looting our funds abroad. But what I am saying that if the man in question, I mean late Sani Abacha, has not done that, what would have been the fate of Nigeria at this moment? I really don't know, but then I see it as a blessing in disguise. Maybe you have another thoughts on that.
Of course, to an extent, though I feel like a lot of Nigerians at this point already agree that Abacha did loot Nigerian funds, even though some persons still have like other views. And I also feel like, imagine if this monies that we are talking about were actually left in Nigeria. What do you think would have happened to our economy at this point in time? And look at all these monies that have been recovered over the years. What do you think have been done with the money? I recall in 2022, the president of ASU, he was saying that about $23.5 million was recovered, and it was saying that that money should be used to settle ASU. And at the end of the day, I don't think that money was used for that. So a lot of things are actually going on surrounding this whole Abacha loot. And I also recall that recently, the wife of Abacha was actually interviewed, and then she mentioned that her husband kept money for Nigerians. I have an issue with the word kept.
But in some, I just feel why you were saying that if we actually have that money in Nigeria, that maybe our country would have been better. But do not forget that during Abacha's regime, our country, our economy was good.
Yes, it was good,
but then,
actually.
If he had dropped the money here, don't you think others coming now, we have the old bottles and the same old wine coming to like loot it, corrupt, and mismanage the funds? But I feel what he has done is really good to some extent and not something that we should be proud of. But at least if he had dropped the money here, it would be used for something else.
Okay, currently, do you think they are using the money for things that we actually benefit the country? Because let me also remind you that some of this is government actually, just like you mentioned, was characterized by a lot of things, like, you know, abuse of human rights, you know, dictatorial tendencies, and even corruption. Just like you said, there was economic boom, a lot of things happened, but we can not forget some of the things that actually happened during his regime. And I also feel like a lot of Nigerians are just so fixated on presentism.
But
By that, I mean that this money, they feel like whenever it comes in, you know, it saves us at critical times and to settle some debt, you know, going by the fact that Nigeria is owing a lot of money at the moment. But I just feel like, you know, this should not be encouraged at all. Though we have the money, and then I feel like up to now about $3.5 billion have been recovered, but still a lot is going on.
Yeah, that's $3.65 billion Abacha loot recovered in 2024.
Exactly.
In 24 years now, according to reports, we have this. In 1998, we have $750 million was recovered from Abacha's family, and in 2000, we have $64 million recovered from Switzerland. And in 2003, we have $160 million recovered from JC, and on and on and on and on. So now, in 2018, we have $322 million recovered from Switzerland again.
And even we've got money from France and a couple of other...
From USA.
Exactly, and a couple of other countries. So my question now to you is that, do you think, you know, this money are used for the right purposes? Because I just mentioned, I cited an example that in 2022, we recovered about $23.5 billion, and that the president of ASU was saying that the money should be used to actually settle the debt. Because I recall in 2022, the ASU strike stayed for long.
Yes,
for months.
For 8 months.
So do you think the monies are used for the right, you know, purposes?
Well, the wife had come out to say, no, my husband did not loot Nigerians' money, and Nigerians are not full. But the only thing she felt that was wrong is that she just allow her husband to rest in peace. And of course, she just stop this Abacha's loot. Well, to me, you asking me that question, but remember that we are co-hosts this morning. I am not your analyst.
No, I just wanted to get your perspective.
All the same, I am saying that this money has to us good. Because remember the impact of COVID-19. This was the money we were using to sort some things in Nigeria.
I get your point, actually. The monies are being used.
Though the money might not be used well.
Okay,
that's if we have it here. But then those people helped us now.
Just like I said,
Nigerians
are so fixated on the concept of presentism. The money comes in and we use it at critical times. And so for a lot of Nigerians, I mean, they see him as a grandpapa that comes up, you know, once in a while and drops money for Nigerians to spend.
Well, whatever it is, I always want to, well, my own opinion, I say that Abacha's loot is a blessing in disguise for Nigeria. But always know that you can watch us live at Dominion, www.dominion.org.ng, and of course you can follow us on all our various social media platforms, talking about Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and LinkedIn at Dominion Broadcast, and of course on X at Dominion Cast. But then, what will return after this daybreak news? We got more for you. Good morning once again. I am Pat Aito.
And good morning. Thank you for staying tuned with us. I am Oluwayemi Adelakun.
A very good morning to you. Welcome to Daybreak News on Dominion Television. I am Pat Aito. The Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, has renamed the Abuja International Conference Center as the Bola Ahmed Tinubu International Conference Center. Wike stated this during the inauguration of the ICC, also disclosing that other halls in the facility had been renamed after Vice President Kashim Shettima, Senate President Godswill Akpabio, House of Representatives Speaker Tajuddin Abbas, and Chief Justice of Nigeria Kekere. The minister also stated that any ministries or government agencies willing to use the conference center will be made to pay going forward to ensure the proper maintenance of the ICC. The Rivers State of the All Progressives Congress (APC) has warned suspended Rivers State Governor Siminalayi Fubara that only sincere reconciliation efforts can prevent his impeachment. Speaking at a press conference in Abuja, Chairman of the APC Caretaker Committee, Tony Okocha, stated that the suspended governor has yet to initiate any meaningful steps to reconcile with the duly elected lawmakers in the state. President Bola Tinubu declared the state of emergency in Rivers State on March 18 due to the ongoing political deadlock between Federal Capital Territory Minister Nyesom Wike and Governor Siminalayi Fubara. Former Senate President Bukola Saraki met with the Oyo State Governor Engineer Seyi Makinde amid the leadership crisis in the People's Democratic Party (PDP). Saraki disclosed this via a post on X, expressing hope that PDP leaders may come together and form a common position. Saraki's meeting with Makinde is part of efforts to resolve the crisis in the PDP and reconcile all aggrieved members. Justice D.E. Osiago of the Federal High Court in Ikoyi, Lagos, has convicted and sentenced 9 Chinese nationals to 1-year imprisonment each for cyber-terrorism and internet fraud following their arrest in the major sitting operation by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission (EFCC). According to a statement via X by the EFCC, the convicts were part of a syndicate of 772 alleged cryptocurrency investment and remains fraud suspect apprehended on the 19th of December 2024. The EFCC's Legal Zonal Directorate to charge the 9 individuals in February 2025 with 1 count separate charges of cyber-terrorism and internet fraud. The Oyo State government has confirmed that no lives were lost following the recent tremor and rock movement at Iyamakbo Hill in Igbeti, Olorunshogo local government area. In a statement signed by the Commissioner for Information, Dr. Oyelade, the government attributed the disruption to natural geological processes. He assured the residents that there was no cause for alarm, stating clearly that no casualties have been recorded in the incident. To address the situation, the government also dispatched experts from the Oyo State Solid Mineral Development Agency, led by its Director General, Bioduni, to carry out on-site evaluation. And in business, the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited (NNPCL) has issued a fresh disclaimer urging the public to beware of individuals and companies falsely claiming to represent the state-owned oil firm. NNPCL made the statement through its spokesperson Olufemi Shuneye. The firm particularly urged foreign investors and international business entities to be cautious not to fall for dubious individuals, further stressing that all legitimate engagement with the company should occur strictly through its channels or business units only. You can visit our website on www.dominion.org.nj to watch us live and interact with us. You can also follow us across our social media platforms: Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and LinkedIn at Dominion Broadcast, and on X at Dominion Cast. And that was the Daybreak News. We appreciate you so much for watching. Good morning.
beautiful morning to you once again. Thank you for staying tuned with us. That is still Daybreak Live on Dominion TV. Ibadan. This morning I'll be taking you through the headlines across the dailies, and soon enough we will connect with our analysts for the day, and then it will help us make sense of some of the topical issues that we have on the dailies this morning. Let me start with this paper, Leadership, and then we have this particular headline that says Democracy at 26, politicians are the problem of Nigeria. ACF, Afenifere, MBF, and Onaisi. This is one of the topics that we are going to discuss this morning with the analysts, because this is saying that politicians are the problems of Nigeria. Is it just about the politicians? Are the people involved as well? Because I believe in what we call a symbiotic system, because I know that, you know, it takes the politicians and the people for a country to work and then be better in terms of economy, in terms of health, and then quite a number of other sectors. So we're looking at these, you know, with the analysts when it comes on board. Politicians are the problem of Nigeria. That's coming from ACF, Afenifere, MBF, and Onaisi. So still on the leadership paper, I also have this headline that says President of the Commission's Maitama Gishiri Bridge, Katampe, Jahi, Bush Links roads. You know, okay, so moving on, moving to this day newspaper, I have this headline that says $5 billion oil-backed loan from Saudi Aramco. And then that headline has this rider. It says parties may renegotiate record deal. Still on this day newspaper, I also have this one that says Tinubu to Wike, ignore busybodies and bystanders. You are a transformational leader. A lot of criticisms are going on concerning this current administration. People are saying that, you know, the people are suffering, there's poverty in the land, the economy is not doing well. And then Wike, who is a member of the People's Democratic Party, who is working with the APC currently as the Minister of FCT, you know, has said that the president should ignore all of these criticisms and then the busybodies and then the bystanders and just focus on what is doing for the country. This is also, you know, one of the headlines that we are going to talk about when I have my analyst on board. All right, moving on to another newspaper this morning. I have the Nigerian Tribune, and I have this headline that says Wike renames ICC after Tinubu. And then this headline, you know, of these writers, don't pay attention to busybodies. You know, President tells FCT minister, says usage of facility not free. And then, you know, the president was speaking, and then he said that the last time he went, you know, to this venue, I mean the ICC, the International Conference Center, he did not like the state of the place. You know, it was dirty, and then it doesn't speak well of the administration. And then he said this place has been opened and then should be kept neat, and then people should pay for it. I think this is a good one because it will help us generate, I mean, you know, revenue, and then we can use the money for quite a number of other things. So we can also look at these, you know, when my analyst comes on board. I have this headline still on Nigerian Tribune, and it says ASU declares no pay, no work, any month's salary is the lead. I think this no pay, no work, you know, has been on for quite a number of times. It was very, you know, loud in 2022, 2021, because, I mean, the strike was so long, and then the lecturers were complaining, you know, the members of ASU were also complaining that, you know, why should they work and not get paid? I recall that a lot of students, you know, some had to drop out of school in 2022 because they were tired of everything that was going on. I mean, why should they be home for 7 to 8 months and then, you know, school was not going on, a lot was happening. So, you know, ASU is coming out to say this again, that, you know, no pay, no work, anyone's salary is the lead. But then I want to commend, you know, this current administration for one thing, because I've noticed that, you know, since 2023 and when APC, you know, took over power again, you know, we've not heard anything like ASU strike. Some of my friends who are currently doing masters, I mean, they are so fast, and then I just want to commend the government on that because things are going smoothly. Okay, if time permits us, we might also look at this story. Still on Nigerian Tribune, I also have this one that says SEC offers public companies to release owed dividends. Okay, so moving on, I have this paper before me, which is New Telegraph. And I have this headline that says Rivers APC to Fubara your visit to president won't save you. And then that headline asks this writer, it says he hasn't shown readiness to settle with suspended Rivers House members. What is going on actually in APC and this whole issue of Fubara, and then Rivers APC is talking to Fubara that your visit to the president won't save you. Let's not forget about the fact that there is a current rift that is going on between Fubara and his principal, that's Nyesom Wike, and then a lot of persons have come out to say that Fubara is actually not playing the game well, because when it comes to politics, it's something of personal interest, and then maybe later state interest or national interest can actually come in. We might actually look at this story too, because I mean it's quite loud. We might talk about it if time permit us. Still on New Telegraph paper, I also have this headline that says oil price for the least Nigeria, Aramco $5 billion loan deal. I also have this one that says Obi, vote must count in 2027. Nigeria needs ballot box revolution, says Sam Amadi. 2027 is still far, but I think that a lot of conversations are already going on. I mean, we are seeing defections here and there, people defecting, especially from PDP, from Labour Party to APC, which is the ruling party currently. And I also know that recently the governor of Akwa Ibom State, that's Governor, Eno, he defected to the APC, and then he said part of the reasons why he defected is because he wants the state to actually, feel among and then be numbered, with the central party. We might also look at this story because it's saying that vote must count in 2027. A lot of tension already, and this is still 2025. What should we expect in 2027? What should we expect? Should we be expecting coalition? Should we be expecting more defection, against 2027, general elections? Or still on New Telegraph, I also have this one that says Senate to institutionalize June 12 presidential address swearing in at NAS, complex. We may also look at that. Another headline says petroleum subsidy was a scam. Nigeria cannot go back. That is coming from OG Kalu. All right, I don't think I might be able to take more headlines this morning, but then right now we go a short break, and then when we come back, we'll connect with our analysts for the day, and we'll look at some of the stories that I have discussed this morning, and then we hope that you'll help us unpack some of these stories this morning. Please stay with us. It is still Daybreak Live on Dominion TV. I'll be right back. Thank you once again for staying with us this morning on Daybreak Live on Dominion Television. Right now I have with me my analyst for today, Toyi Ganiyu. Is a public affairs analyst, and then he is currently a worker in an oil field company in one of the nation's oil mining license site in Nigeria. He's also a commentator on national issues. Toyi Ganiyu, good morning. It's nice to have you on board this morning.
Yeah, good morning, Yemi. Good morning to our viewers and listeners all over the globe. It's nice to be here with you.
Thank you so much. All right, I would love you to help us unpack some of the stories that I have with me this morning, and I would love us to start with this particular one that says, Obi, vote must count in 2027. Nigeria needs ballot box revolution. That's coming from Sam Amadi. What do you think this is this is trying to say vote must count in 2027. Is it that votes have not been counting before now? What's your take on this particular headline?
Okay, so it's nice that once again this is being reiterated that we would like the votes to count in whatever election has been conducted in the country.
Okay.
Unfortunately, there's always this sense that even though people go to vote, that when the votes go for counting and when it's being collated together and when it's being announced, it's always a different ball game. You know, we've tried to interrogate our political system, you know, to try and find a lasting solution to this, but unfortunately, we've not been able to get there. We've seen videos, we've had witnesses who have come out to say that certain sharp practices are done when results are collated, and it gives a sense that even though sometimes votes might count, it might not totally, you know, count.
What's the reason for that?
Yes, please.
Okay, you said it might count but might not totally count. What do you mean by that?
So what I mean is that, yes, indeed, we might say that 500 people actually came out to vote.
Okay.
And the results that we would be announcing would be for 500 people. Whether those results are now the wishes of the people is another thing entirely.
Okay, so Toyi Ganiyu, can you talk about the issue of vote buying? Because, I mean, we saw videos the last election, and even for, you know, state elections, you know, we see videos of, you know, people, you know, collecting money, you know, to sell their vote for as low as 5,000 naira. How do you think that can be stopped, or can it even be stopped? I mean, you know, looking at the coming elections in Nigeria.
Well, for me, it's going to be very challenging to stop it. Yes,
okay,
we might reduce it. To totally stop it might be challenging, especially in our country where there is high rate of poverty, high rate of unemployment, high rate of social disconnect between the government and the people. It's going to be very, very challenging. You know, you can just imagine someone who is below the acclaimed poverty line, and it's been offered, you know, peanuts, you know, to vote for a particular candidate. What you will be thinking of at that moment is where his next meal will come from. You know, you will not be thinking of the 4 years that that candidate would be in power, or what if that candidate has something to offer. The next thing you'll be thinking of is where his next meal will come from. And that's why, you know, social analysts and a lot of commentators have enjoyed the government, you know, to try and make policies that would make poverty reduced in the nation a bit more feasible. Because it generally seems as if the government enjoys weaponizing poverty, so that, you know, when the people are below the poverty level, when things like this come on, they easily get sentenced. So it will be very, very challenging to stop it totally. We might try and reduce it. I know under the last electoral act, there were laws banning vote buying and all sorts. But, you know our politicians, they've now, you know, found a way around it. Now they don't do it in the open. Now we hear that they do transfers before the election day. Now we understand now that they have sectional heads, they have contact persons that they will have arranged with prior to the election, and these contact persons have a way of getting across to the people. So, you know, the politicians are getting more crafty, and they are, you know, being very, very bold in bypassing the various measures that we have done to stop vote buying. So, for now, unless we do something about our poverty levels, it might be quite challenging to totally stop it.
All right, thank you. So let me connect this headline with a previous headline that we saw on the news, I think, around last week. So talking about the former governor of Rivers State, Rotimi Amaechi, and then the former governor of Kaduna State, Nasir El-Rufai, you know, they both said that, let me start with Rotimi Amaechi now. He said that, you know, the people are hungry. There is poverty in the land. He even said he is hungry. and then, you know, a lot of criticisms around, you know, poverty and the like. So do you think if Nigerian government, or let me say, you know, our leaders, you know, can find a way to actually curb poverty and then reduce it? Because, you know, one of the things that we hear during election period is weaponized poverty, and then because of that, people do not have a choice, just like you explained, but to sell their vote. So if this can be curbed, is there a way out for us to totally eradicate the issue of vote buying?
Yes, I believe that if the government is intentional and deliberate in working for the people and making policies, economic policies that will uplift the nation and uplift the livelihood of the citizens, it's something that can actually be eradicated. For instance, we've also witnessed elections that have been done in other climes. We've been able to witness it, been able to even, you know, watch some of them. I will think that issues of vote buying are not as pronounced as...
Hello, are you there? Hello? Okay, soon enough we might have him join us again. So he was talking about the issue of vote buying, and I asked him a question that, you know, looking at what these men have come, you know, to say, you know, recently that they are hungry, the people are hungry, that he himself is hungry, and then I see videos every time election, you know, is on, people sell their votes, and then there was a particular video I saw last year, I think the Ondo State election, and then the woman was saying that we've collected money and we've voted. Now we can do a lot of things with the money. We can cook, we can do that. It's quite sad. I mean, in a democratic state, that things like that, you know, are brought to the fore, that people can see. You know, it's a form of, I don't think it can encourage anyone that wants to vote for the right person as well. Okay, so moving away from that, let's also look at this headline. I will have him speak on it when I have him back on the show. It says, petroleum subsidy was a scam. Nigeria can't go back. That's coming from Ode Kalu. Abia ex-governor remains respected leader of our party, APC, you know, Abia North. That's coming from APC Abia North. So I recall that Peter Obi, that's the Labour Party candidate for the 2023 election, you know, he granted an interview recently, and then he talked about the fact that he respects the fact that the president, you know, removed subsidy the same day that he came on board. He said subsidy is gone, and a lot of things changed immediately after that statement. And then he said that it is what he intends to do, that if we study his manifesto, it is what he was going to do. Adimbi, he came on board as well. But one thing he does not like is the fact that, you know, the president removed the subsidy, you know, very fast without, you know, putting on or maybe, you know, putting on some procedures and then making sure that it will go very smoothly. So he feels that the processes are not right, and that is the reason why we are going through some of this issue. He also talked about the fact that the president should not have, you know, decided to float the currency without, you know, proper research, and then he mentioned the issue of data. You know, very frankly, I know that in Nigeria we have, you know, data issue. If you enter some foreign countries today, the day you entered, you know, will be registered. Your name or your information will be registered. If they need to get through to you, they have all the information. But do we have that in Nigeria? And even some African countries, I think no. So we have the issue of data, and then some of these things surrounding, you know, our issues in the country. So this issue of petroleum subsidy, though I know that recently a report came out that about 84 billion, you know, dollars was actually, you know, recovered from this no subsidy again. And then there have been several questions. Even Peter Obi himself also, you know, stated that this money that have been recovered from no subsidy, you know, what has it been used for? Can the government account for this money? These are some of the questions, you know, that he was asking. So I would love to, you know, touch that story when my analyst, you know, comes back, you know, and that will be interesting. All right, let's take a look at another, you know, story that I have here on the Nigerian Tribune, and it is ASUU declares no pay, no work, any month's salary is delayed. Okay, right now I think I have my guest back on board, and I would love him to speak on this issue because I believe he's a professional in this light. Toyin Ganiyu, are you back on board?
I'm with you.
Thank you so much. Can you complete your response before you went off for a while, before we go to the next headline?
Okay. Very intentional with their policy and all, but she was able to not be tempted, in vote backing.
Okay.
Call the barest minimum.
All right, thank you. So let's look at this particular headline. It says petroleum subsidy was a scam. Nigeria can't go back. That's coming from Orji Kalu. And I also love to link this to the recent interview that Peter Obi, the presidential candidate of Labour Party for the 2023 general elections, he stated that he also has it in mind to actually remove the subsidy that is part of his manifesto, but he doesn't like the fact that the president removed the subsidy without adequate planning. So what do you make of this situation? Do you think petroleum subsidy was a scam, or the best thing to have done at that time was to remove it?
Okay. So as an insider in the petroleum sector, the subsidy initially was not a scam.
Okay.
It was done so as to eliminate, the sufferings of Nigerians, so that we do not pay for petroleum, for petrol and the allied products at the market rate, international market rate as at then.
Okay.
But fortunately, government was intentional about. Fortunately, corruption tendencies came around. Unfortunately, and target as to cronies and aids of government, and we went out for the inefficient system. That was the unfortunate thing about it. The government was very bold to remove it. Unfortunately, also the way he went about it also leaves much to be desired. Just like Mr. Peter Obi asserted to,
Okay.
it could have been done gradually, and it could have been done in a transparent manner. Now, the savings from the subsidy removal, we don't have, the amount that they saved. We just have figures being padded government officials. You cannot say that this is where monies have gone to, the project it has done. What we are looking at, what is the look ahead? What are the plans? We just heard of the CNG program just from a few months ago. But after the initial grandstanding and the SPA, don't seem to hear about the CNG project again. So that by this year, 1.5 million thereabout vehicles will have been converted and all, but nothing going on in that sector. So unfortunately, because of the transparency, it gives a lot of room, for suspicion on how this regime is being handled. Initially, it was not a scam, but because of lack of transparency, it gives credence to the notion that it's being not handled properly.
All right, thank you. So, still on Peter Obi, because one thing I know or that I've seen, in recent years is the fact that when politicians are not in power, they seem to have all the answers. They seem to have all the solutions to the problems. But when they come there, we see another thing entirely. So, do you think that if Peter Obi is actually the one in power now, he would have done things differently?
Well, it's just speculative, it's subjective. You could have, one of the beauty of being opposition in any democratic space. It allows whoever is on the seat of power to sit up. It allows you to be able to sit with different perspectives. Like we say, nobody has all the answers. So I like when politicians like Peter Obi comes up, and when they comes up with their opinion and dialogues like this, allows those who are in power to actually be able to sit up, have a look at the entire system, and see what they could have done better or the mistakes that they have made, so as to correct them. Unfortunately, what we have seen, especially from government, is that any voice, so they look for a way to silence the voice, and a lot of things are said about those voices, and we now have necessarily trying to muzzle their voices and so I think what he said is good, but whether if he was in the seat of power, if he would have done it the way he said he would do it, is another thing, is another thing entirely.
Okay, thank you. So there are quite a number of headlines, bordering on, opposition parties, Labour Party and the PDP, majorly. So I want to ask you, how well do you think these opposition parties are doing? Because, currently there was a meeting that was held in Abuja, on Monday, and then Wike, presided over the meeting. A lot of stakeholders were present, and then they talked about zoning the presidency to the south. I recall that one of the issues that actually, led to, a lot of things in 2023, or maybe before 2023, was the fact that, some governors did not support the presidency being zoned to the north, and then a lot of them, were saying, Ayu must go, Ayu must go. So I feel like PDP currently, has like a structural problem. And looking at the Labour Party, they also have like a leadership problem. And then the opposition parties are supposed to stand as a watchdog. I mean, monitor the activities of the ruling government, just like you said. But how well do you think they are doing, currently?
To be very honest with you, the two leading opposition parties, the PDP and the Labour Party, have done very poorly, very poorly in keeping the government on its toes. They are supposed to come out, scrutinize government policies, look for loopholes, point it out, and offer alternatives on ways that it could be done better. The pragmatic way of keeping any government power on its toes. Just as they say, absolute power corrupts absolutely, so that, power does not get them intoxicated and they begin to do all what they like. But unfortunately, the two leading political parties that we have done very poorly. There have been a lot of issues of infighting they've not been able to resolve. And this brings to the question, if within your political party cannot resolve issues, how do you want us to trust you in resolving issues in 36 of the nation? It bothers me a lot when I hear about all sorts of infighting and that people cannot let go of their egos to work together. It talks about a lot of whether we even have political ideology, even in this our party, because it seems as if the quest is, I want to get into a leadership position. When you get into that leadership position, what is the blueprint that you are following? What is the party telling you to do? It seems as if existence, just in Nigeria, it seems as if the quest is, get into political power, and I just do whatever I like. There's no checks, there's no balances even from the political party. So it just seems as if once you get there, you begin to act anyhow. So to be very honest with you, I'm very disappointed with the two leading political parties. They've not shown me that they are serious about actually keeping the government on their toes and actually preparing for an election. So many infighting. So for our own political journey.
All right, thank you so much, Thoyi Gani. In as much as I have quite a number of other things to talk about, but I think I need to let you go this morning. We do hope that when next we call you, you will grace this program with your presence.
Thank you very much for having me. Thank you so much.
All right, have a great day.
And you too.
All right, bye. Okay, thank you for being a part of this segment. Do not forget that Daybreak Live continues on Dominion Television, Ibadan. Please stay with us. Pat will soon be on board to talk about the big story at the Studio Dominion Television. Please stay with us. We'll be right back.
there are about 53 radio stations within the broadcast landscape alone. And I said, yes, why not? We are here to make a difference. I said something yesterday, I was told when I was very young, that Ninu Obi, Latin Yoifi. Which means that in the committee of metals, the platinum stands top. It's top notch. You cannot compare the platinum to gold, to silver, to brass, or to anything. So Dominion is here to dominate in practical terms.
I had no doubt in my mind that with this collection, we are going to set agenda. More importantly, we are going to enforce social ethics. Because part of the problem of Nigeria is that the state is too powerful and the society is too weak. So when the state begins to misbehave, the weak society has no power to hold them into control. So we begin to do social ethicizing. So we not only report, we will not only inform, we will also set agenda.
All right, welcome back. It's still Daybreak Live on Dominion Television here in Ibadan, your channel of choice. And of course, we apologize for that delay. But moving on now, remember you can listen and interact with us on www.dominion.org.ng and also join our social media platforms. That's Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, and LinkedIn at Dominion Broadcast and on X at Dominion Cast. Of course, welcome to Big Story. Well, Africa is more than its geographical boundaries, from the vibrant rhythms of Afrobeat music influencing global pop culture to the profound impact of African diaspora communities shaping societies worldwide. The continent's presence is felt far and wide, and that is why we are having Ibade Joy Udo, a Nigerian adventurer, storyteller, and a content creator with a deep desire to explore Africa from the inside out. She is on a mission to complete the longest solo motorcycle journey across Africa by a woman. A very good morning to you.
Good morning.
Thank you so much for coming on the program.
Thank you so much for having me.
I must say you look gorgeous.
Thank you.
So
You
what's the
too.
secret?
Well, I don't know.
All right, welcome.
Thank you.
How did you get started with biking, and what is the mission behind this tour?
Okay, how I got started with biking. I'd always traveled. I've been traveling for about 7 years, give or take. I've done different types of traveling. Started backpacking, then I did airplanes at some point. Then I built a van, a camper van, and traveled with it at some point. And then I also did keke, traveled in a keke. So it was after I did keke.
You mean our Marwa or keke?
Literally keke, our Marwa, yes. It was after keke that I bought my motorcycle in Nairobi, Kenya. And that was how I started biking. That was 2023, September. And since then, yeah, I've been traveling here and there. The mission, the plan for all this, the whole travel around Africa, like you said, is to complete the longest solo motorcycle journey in Africa by a woman.
With that, let's look at the insecurity in Nigeria.
Right.
What are the strategies or your experience while on the tour? How have you been able to navigate that?
Okay, so far I've done 20 countries on my motorcycle. So it's not really Nigeria is just one of the countries I've done amongst 20 countries in Africa. I have rules that I follow. I don't travel at night, for instance. I have a low-sounding bike. So there are particular rules I follow for security. But I'd say I've been lucky. Yeah, averagely, I've been lucky. I've not experienced too many crazy things. Of course, several things. I've been attacked by a snake. I've had an accident, border madness and such. But yes, overall, I've been quite lucky so far.
Okay, in this, your tour, what did you discover about different cultures and places during your travel?
Okay, I'll say Africa is one. We are divided by language, yes, culture, food and such, but we are one overall. You see kindness everywhere you go to. Every culture exhibits kindness to other humans. There is a lot of similarity between us. I really don't know why borders separate us in the first place, but there's lots of similarities.
Similarities like?
Between African countries.
African countries.
Like the way we look, we are very similar. The way we dance, the way we speak, it could be different languages, but the way we speak, our gesticulation, right? Our kindness, our way of life, our compassion. Yes, we are very similar in Africa, but also different, of course, because it's like 54 sisters. There could be siblings, but they are all different. They all have their own different attributes. So yes, we are similar, but also have our own different traits.
All right. Now, we were actually looking at you being the award or your name being written in Guinness Book of Records, and up to now, we've not seen that. How do you feel?
So for the Guinness World Record, I was applying for the next trip, so it's not supposed to be now. Yes, so I was rejected at first, posted it on social media, then Guinness World Record refunded the money I paid, and then now I'm going for it. Now they brought back my application, gave me the guidelines, so now I'm going for it. So it's supposed to be for my next trip, which starts next month. It will be for 3 months. I'm going through 12 countries, so in total I would have
12
done
countries.
32 countries.
Would you mind to name those countries there?
Yeah, so it's South Africa to Kenya. So I'm doing South Africa, Namibia, Botswana, Lesotho, Eswatini to Mozambique, then out to Zimbabwe, Zambia, Malawi, Tanzania, Burundi, then Kenya.
But in all your trips, on your tour or your travels, I see that you started from Kenya. Why Kenya instead of Nigeria?
So I had moved to Kenya back in 2021. So I was staying, I bought my motorcycle in Kenya. I started motorcycling in Kenya, not Nigeria. So I started traveling from Kenya because I started motorcycling in Kenya. That was where I was living. So after Kenya, I traveled down all the way to Nigeria. Then I did all the way from Nigeria to Senegal. So now I'm shipping my bike. My bike is being shipped as we speak to South Africa. So I will travel to South Africa and then start from there to Kenya, back to Kenya.
So let's look at your personal life now. How do you balance? You've been an adventurer, you've been a storyteller and a content creator. How do you balance the three?
I sleep so fast.
Looking at that, you graduated with you're a graduate of criminology and social works. Then how do you balance all this?
Okay, so I've never practiced my course. I only graduated as a criminologist. I've never practiced.
Why? It seems like you have been forced to go read that.
No, I wasn't being forced. I read it. A lot of people in Nigeria don't necessarily go. Education is not necessarily what makes you successful, but that's another thing to discuss. That's another topic. Education just makes you enlightened, gives you the grassroots to be successful, but it's not directly what makes you successful. Well, depending on your course, but there are a lot of things, a myriad of things that you can do to be successful. So no, I've never practiced my course. I've practiced things that have given me a very, very good life so far. I've done radio, I've done TV, I'd produced films before I went to Kenya, before I started traveling. So I've done several things. So balancing basically is work, because I work, I do work, I do content creation, and then I travel. So basically it's sleep that suffers the most. Yeah, but somehow I'm balancing them.
You're balancing it. So looking at the storyteller, being a storyteller, what inspires you?
To tell
a story.
My travels inspire me. It's easy to talk about what I've gone through, and what I go through every day is very interesting. I would not have any other life. So talking about something so rare, so beautiful, so divine is easy to talk about it. Yeah, I don't need too much motivation. Yeah.
Okay, let's look at your tour. What factor? What are factors you've seen that constituted to maybe now that you were saying that you don't travel at night? What are those factors behind it? Like why you don't travel? You said because of insecurity, but there are some factors too that you've seen that caused some things in your journey.
Okay, so traveling at night is dangerous. Even when I was driving, I wasn't traveling at night. Me and night, we don't mix. At night, I'm in my bed. Normal outings, I don't do them at night. Daytime works for me. So whenever I'm traveling, if I know that I'll be out past 5, I'm not doing it. I travel in the mornings. I don't overdo in at night. So apart from the darkness, it's all security, and the fact that I just don't like night. It's not anything that impairs my vision when I'm riding or when I'm out, then it's not for me. I'm just not a night person outside. I am usually awake at night because I'm nocturnal, but that's in my house. Yeah.
So now let's look at it. In all, how do you hope to accomplish this journey of yours?
So I've already accomplished way more than half so far. I'm doing 32 countries altogether. Okay, the current record is at 30,000 kilometers, so I have to break 30,000 kilometers, and I'm already almost at 24,000. So by the time I do like 5 countries in my next trip, I've already broken the record, and I still have 12 countries in the next trip. So I don't think accomplishing it should be so hard. But this time I'm doing it for a cause. I'm empowering girls, about 18 girls. So yeah, that goes with the trip itself.
Okay, how do you say this? They will tell you what a man can do. Some will tell you a woman can do better or best. In your own case, did that really go on well with you?
In my own case, it has nothing to do with a man with the male gender. What a woman can do better. It's just me being a woman doing it. It has nothing to do with, there's no comparison, the male gender has nothing to do with me. I'm just a woman riding a motorcycle and excelling at it. Simple.
Oh, congratulations, I must say. I'm fast. I am. I'm actually looking at the way a day I will just ride a bicycle and just said I want to tour around the country. Fine, let's look at it. Who are your supporters? I mean, do you have anybody, maybe your family, supporting you? It's like, oh, go girl, we at your back.
Everybody has supported me so far, actually. People know me, people don't know me. People have cheered me on. People have prayed for me. Yeah, I've received immense support so far from everybody who is around me and everybody who isn't necessarily directly around me.
Even from where you stay, I mean in Kenya.
Oh yeah, my fans started from, my fan base or whatever started in Kenya when I was building the van, because I was the first woman to build a van then. I built it from scratch. It's scrap. I built it all the way for about 3 months. It was a van, a camper van.
Wow.
So from scrap, I built it, sitting room, bedroom, toilet, kitchen, sunroof, everything, solar panel, everything, yes, was on it. So I was the first, so I had already started building. Yeah, so everything started from Kenya, then motorcycle, yeah.
Oh, that's a good one and a long one here. So where do you see yourself in the next, let me say, 5 years?
Projecting where I see myself in the next 5 years is limiting myself. My mind cannot process where I'll be in 5 years because it will be so high, so beyond this world that my mind can't see it. So saying anything now means that I am bringing myself down.
Let's just imagine, like you have plans ahead of what you want to do. And let's imagine that, okay, somebody is asking you that, come next 5 years, where would you want to be? How would you want to see yourself? Or perhaps maybe you want to have a family or what?
There's a chance I would have done reading somewhere around the whole continent we have. That probably would have gone into sailing because I have plans to sail too. So yeah, 5 years, yeah.
All right, let's look in at this. How do you find your path from your past? Everything that has happened around you. How do you find your path?
It's unique. It's not the conventional type path. It's self-defining. I've defined my life so far, and it will keep being not something you see every day.
And at what age with that?
And at what?
And at what age? And at what age do you define your path?
At what age?
At what age do you like? Okay, yes, I've defined my path to like, okay, this is what I want to do, this is what I don't want to do, and now you're a grown-up woman and you still redefine it. At what age did you sit down to think about it?
I think about it every day. This is an ongoing process, so I think about it as I keep going. My path changes, it keeps evolving, and I keep thinking about it. So there is no age to think about what path you've chosen. You keep thinking about it as the age goes, because as long as you are alive, things keep changing. You are never too old to redefine, to change stuff. So there isn't a particular age, it's just an evolving process.
Well, some people are being curious, like, okay, you travel from here to this country. How do you navigate your path? I mean, do you use Google Map? Or it's just something that just come like, oh, they told you, or you're being told that this is how you need to go about it, or they show you the route?
So I use Google Maps mostly. I have my maps, right? Yeah.
Even in the remote areas?
Oh yeah, depending. Okay, so you know there is offline maps, yeah, then there's the GPS. Okay. Then a lot of times I ask questions because even the place maps is showing is probably not the good place, or maybe it's not safe, so the locals direct me. So whenever I'm in a location, the next 2 or 3 rides, I already know the best path to use because I'm asking questions as I go.
Okay. I want to go back to this answer you gave me when I was talking about security. You said you don't travel at night. Do you have a particular place that you put your at?
Oh yeah, since I started in Kenya, I've slept in hotels every day. I sleep in hotels every day.
Remote areas too?
Yes, there are guest houses. So it depends. When you travel, you know, you gauge it. You know the next place you are sleeping. So of course, I wouldn't stop in a place that there is no hotel. For instance, now if I want to leave from Lagos to, if my destination is Katsina and I want to break it into 3, of course I won't end my journey in a place that I won't see hotel because I already know the hotel I'm going to in the first place. So it's planning. You plan your trip all the way.
So now we'll talk about diversity in our language. You are in Botswana now, just an example, and you really don't understand their language. How do you who interpret for you? Do you have an interpreter, or you understand the languages yourself?
Okay, so there's Google Translate, which helps a lot, but not all the time because then it uses internet and such. Okay, so the places I've been to haven't been so hard. So Swahili, I started from the Swahili countries. I understand, I get by with Swahili, speak some, understand some. Then French countries, I get by with French as well. The only countries I've really suffered the most are Portuguese, Angola and Guinea-Bissau. Those two countries speak Portuguese, so there Google Translate somehow, maybe sometimes maybe piece words together because it's quite similar to French and such. So yes, somehow you get by.
So in that area that you have struggle with understanding the languages, then how do you go about it?
Google Translates mostly, or you look for someone who speaks English around. English is the most universal language, so even in places that they don't speak English, speak the language. If you search enough, you see someone who probably speaks broken English if Google Translate doesn't work. But Google Translate comes true for me a lot.
All right, well, wish you well in your journey, but then let's look at it. What is your advice for the young women or ladies out there watching you this morning?
Well, I'd say live your life. Life doesn't come twice. It's short. Tomorrow is not promised. One could live here now, and then a truck is somehow breaks field. Like, that's how fickle life is. Life is so fickle. You never know what's going to happen in the next hour. So don't wait for people's opinions. Don't let fear stop you. If you have a plan and it's feasible, live your life. Go for it. Even
in an environment where you find yourself like, oh, there are many males there, and how do you think that person can thrive rather?
Femininity is different from masculinity. There are women who thrive the most when they are in a male-dominated environment because they bring in another angle. So wherever you find yourself, be the best you can, be the most unique you can, and make sure that you leave your imprints in wherever you are.
Okay, if you just watching, this is Imadejoy Udo, a Nigerian adventurer and storyteller and a content creator with a deep desire to explore Africa from the inside out. Well, she said she graduated with criminology and and social works, but she's not using that. Do you get support from all the bikers?
What it depends what does support mean.
Maybe support like from Nigeria, bikers from Nigeria, like that's a girl during AIDS. Okay, let's see what we can do to rally it out. It can be financial, social, physical, mental.
I'd said before, I didn't start biking in Nigeria.
But right? At least you are a Nigerian.
Yeah, when I got back, they all came out for me. They picked me up from where I arrived in Nigeria. All the bikers in all the states, they came out and escorted me, yes. Then yes, I'm one of them, but I can't necessarily say I'm a Nigerian biker or that until I start riding here. I'm not really reading in Nigeria 100%, if you get. I'm reading through Nigeria. So yeah, I wouldn't say like the people who have been riding Nigeria for like 10 years now, the way they would be in the community is different from the way I am in the community. Let's be factual. But yes, support from them 100%, yes.
Any hope of coming to Nigeria soon?
Coming
to Nigeria to stay here soon?
No.
Why?
I don't think I'll be staying in one place for a very long time from now. Not Nigeria, not anywhere. I have plans to keep traveling for the next years to come. Yeah.
But you've been in Kenya but at least we want to see your face, like this is our girl, we want to applaud you, you understand?
Yeah, I always come. Okay, like now I'm in between trips. I'm in Nigeria. The last one when I was in between trips, I was in Nigeria. Even when I was in Kenya, I'd come to Nigeria like 2-3 times, right? So yes, I would always come to Nigeria in between, but coming to stay permanently, I don't see myself staying permanently in the place anytime soon.
All right. Thank you so much for coming on the program this morning. Well, if you're just watching, you're watching Daybreak Live on Dominion Television, your channel of choice. And we have our guest, Ibadejoy Udo, a Nigerian adventurer, a storyteller, and a content creator with a deep desire to explore Africa from the inside out with a bike. You could see how she's riding. Although she's a Nigerian, but then she's based in Kenya. But she said for now, she'll be moving from one country to the other. Well, this is a convenient time for us to see Abiwai on the segment. Well, up next will be Daybreak Sport. Thank you so much for coming on the program once again.
Thank you for having me.
All right, we appreciate you so much.
Thank you.
All right, see you again after the Daybreak Sport.
Good morning to you. Many thanks for joining us on Daybreak Sports. I'm Buluwaji Ogumon. Of course, so excited to be here this morning as we have a whole lot lined up for your viewing pleasure. And of course, all the news making the rounds in the beautiful world of sport. Well, on the show this morning, we'll definitely kickstart from the Nigerian Premier Football League, where a lot is going on as we speak. As the Nigerian Professional Football League Board have instructed all of the clubs participating in the NPFL to ensure that they upgrade their facilities, talking about a stadium, asking them to ensure that they make sure that they have floodlights available for night game, and of course ensure that there is a backup generator in all of the stadiums in the country. And that's according to the NPFL release earlier today. Moving on the show this morning, let me inform you that Aliyu Zubair, the head coach of El Kanemi Warriors, have stepped down from his position as head coach of the Nigeria Premier Football League side. Well, Zubair had been in charge of the Maiduguri-based club, of course, for over 2 years. While the young tactician masterminded El Kanemi Warriors' promotion to the Nigerian Premier Football League from the Nigerian National League in his first season at the club. He also guided the club to victory in the President's Federation Cup last year. Aliyu Zubair will now focus on his role with the Flying Eagles of Nigeria. The Flying Eagles of Nigeria, the under-20 national team of Nigeria, secured third place at the 2025 Africa Under-20 Cup of Nations in Egypt last month. They are set to compete at the 2025 FIFA Under-20 World Cup in Chile later on this year. Well, from Aliyu Zubair's story, let's move on to Europe this morning. We'll discuss the news that concerns Nigerian stars. Let me inform you this morning that Nottingham Forest have confirmed that Nigerian duo of Ola Aina and Taiwo Awoniyi will remain at the club next season, following the release of the team's retained lists on Monday. Despite undergoing a squad shakeup that includes the departure of defender Harry Tofolo and the return of Alex Moreno to Aston Villa after a loan spell, Forest have kept faith with Super Eagles pair of Ola Oluwaina and Taiwo Awoniyi. Of course, they were among several senior players listed as under contract for the 2025-2026 season. Ola Aina, you recall, joined Forest in July 2023 on a free transfer from Torino in the Italian Serie A. Of course, he has enjoyed a standout season under coach Nuno Espirito Santo. Now, the versatile fullback featured in 35 Premier League matches, starting every game and accumulating over 3,000 minutes of action. He scored twice, provided 1 assist, and contributed 11 clean sheets. Of course, earning him a tag as one of the best fullbacks in the English Premier League. I want to say big congratulations to Ola Aina and, of course, Taiwo Awoniyi. Well, talking a bit of transfer this morning. Yes, don't forget that it was shut yesterday, and of course we will reopen next week. Let me inform the Manchester City have completed the signing of attacking midfielder Ryan Cherki from Lyon before this first of this summer transfer deadlines. City will actually pay an initial fee of £30.45 million, and Cherki has signed a 5-year deal until 2030. The 21-year-old will be able to play for City at the FIFA Club World Cup, which begins in the United States on the 14th of June. Cherki has already made almost 200 appearances for Lyon and has scored once in his 2 caps for France. Another transfer that was completed yesterday. Let me inform you that Borussia Dortmund in the German Bundesliga have signed English midfielder Joby Bellingham from Sunderland until 2030, 5 years after bringing his older brother Jude Bellingham to the club. Borussia Dortmund announced the signing on Tuesday, the final day of the Club World Cup transfer window. Borussia Dortmund reportedly paid a fee of around 33 million euros, and that's about 37 million pounds, with 5 million in additional bonuses to secure the midfielder's services. Now, the most the club has paid up front for any player in their history. congratulations to Job Bellingham for that move. Let's quickly talk about Liverpool this morning, where we understand that Florian Wirtz is set for a Liverpool medical after they agreed a deal in principle with Bayer Leverkusen for the 22-year-old Germany midfielder. And of course, we understand that he's worth about £227 million, including adds-on. That's according to Fabrizio Romano. And of course, any moment from now, we expect that transfer to be confirmed by Liverpool. Away from that, let's talk international football this morning, where Senegal have become the first African country to beat England following their 3-1 win in an international friendly decided yesterday. Before the game, the three Lions, that's England, had recorded a narrow 1-0 win over Andorra. Thomas Tuchel had been critical of his team's performance and, of course, demanded better against Senegal yesterday. But, of course, the host took the lead early in the game through Harry Kane, but the Senegalese, of course, fought back to dominate the match and, of course, played at the City Ground yesterday. Ismail Sarr made it 1-0 before Habib Diarra burst through to give the West Africans the lead in that particular game. England were sluggish about taking a free kick, and it led to a counter-attack which saw Sheikh Sabali put the game out of reach. This is also Thomas Tuchel's first defeat in charge of the Three Lions of England. So we say congratulations to our brothers from Senegal for securing that important win against England. Let's quickly talk about the FIFA World Cup, where Australia yesterday became the 11th country to book their place at the 2026 FIFA World Cup. This was confirmed after they defeated Saudi Arabia 2-1 on Tuesday. And there you have on your screen some of the results of matches played in the European qualifiers yesterday, including England winning 8-0 against Malta. Let's take a look at a list of countries that are true to the FIFA World Cup, and there you have them on your screen. Of course, a good number of countries are already true, like you can see on your screen. There's Mexico, there's USA, Canada, Japan, Iran, Uzbekistan, Jordan, Korea, Australia, Argentina have all booked their places in the FIFA World Cup. And just yesterday, Brazil also booked a place at the FIFA World Cup yesterday, courtesy of their win yesterday. And of course, Ecuador also booked a place at the FIFA World Cup yesterday as well, to increase the number of teams that are true to the next World Cup to 13. And our sports this beautiful morning. I'll be back tomorrow for another interesting edition of Daybreak Sports.
Welcome back to Daybreak Live on Dominion Television, your channel of choice after that Daybreak Sport with Bolu Ogumola. Oh, very fine. We'll head straight to Trend Watch. I'm not doing this alone. Yemi Adela was still here with me. Yemi, good morning once again. Let me just say good morning.
Once again, Pat.
All right, welcome to Trend Watch. A lot's happening.
Exactly.
There. Well, our very own Ayra Starr.
She's doing great for herself. She won her first BERT award for Best International Act. For me, I feel like Ayra Starr, she's doing great for herself. She started well. She has released back-to-back hits, and then
she's focused.
She's focused. And then I recall that she released a song on Instagram that, made her to be recognized by Don Jazzy, Living Records. And then ever since then, she has been putting herself out there, and she's doing well for herself. And when I checked at the report report of this story, I saw that she beat quite a number of top artists. To this
yes.
award.
But we have the
That's
Tyler from the South Africa,
Rema.
and fellow Nigerian too,
Exactly.
Rema, and Ghana's Black Sheriff, and all of them. She won.
She's doing great for us.
All right, she's doing great for
Maybe I might
herself.
just decide to write a few songs too. Maybe I might come up one day.
Well, we have our comments there, and some people were actually saying a lot there. What's the comments? I mean, we have this from Motu of Lagos.
Yes.
She deserved it.
Of course, I agree. I think she really deserves to
She
that
deserved
award.
it.
Looking at how well she has been putting herself out there, writing songs back to back,
back
and I
to
kind
back.
of like her voice.
It's just unique.
Smooth and then calm.
It's just
Honestly,
unique.
yeah.
Oh, another comment here. We have May Lux _, saying that is huge. Congratulations. We're saying congratulations to you from Dominion Broadcast House. Go well. Mwah.
Keep
All right.
doing you.
All right. Away from that, we have this one, BBN Niger.
When it comes to BBN stories and this, it's always very a serious one because these two, Tolani Bart and Bright,
allegation of owing our co-star Bright
1 million naira. They were quite close when they were in the house.
But I feel that was chicken change now.
It might not be chicken change for some persons, but I feel like even if it is chicken change, some persons are so big on trust and loyalty. Regardless of the fact that we are friends, if you
should
are
not take
expected
me
to
for
give me a certain
granted,
amount, I mean, don't take it for granted.
Don't take me for granted. Well, that is that, but because I just feel in that aspect, there are some people that even you help them with one or two things, and they will just feel like it's their right. And before you know, they keep on
that
they
sense
keep on
of
coming.
entitlement.
So like, okay, this is it. I need it. Even if you're a friend, keep to your agreement. Okay, I want 5 naira. Please loan me 5 naira. I will loan you 5 naira. You're going to pay so date. Just keep to agreement. Even if you have not gotten that money, there's a way you could talk to that person and say, oh, please, oh, this is what happened. If you like, there war and everything. You always do when you are owing. But some people will still come and tell you that Nigeria too is owing now. Why are you now harassing? Why are you harassing me? What's that one for?
Familiarity.
Why are you now doing that to me? You now say all sorts of words, and some words will just be coming out, and you keep on looking like, why is this coming out? When you wanted to loan the money, you came, or when you came to me to say, oh, please, this and that, you're so like, oh, please, the begging will come, and if you want to die, that's when the problem will start.
Issues will now start.
An old
friend of mine used to say that any amount you cannot give to someone, don't borrow them. I mean, to avoid issues.
Exactly. It's better you just give them, okay, you want me to loan you 5,000 naira. Okay, in that case, I will not loan you. I have 2,000 naira to give you. Your mind is at rest. Nobody is owing you money. I think that's what some people need to just be doing now.
Exactly.
Well, we have comments there.
Yes, this comment is coming from Precious, and then she says, right from the house, anytime I see Bright O, I remember part of the scripture that talks about Jacob a swindler. That's loud. Because while he was in the house, it was nicknamed Lord Baelish. And then he did quite a number of things, quite a reserved person while he was in the house. So I wonder what is going on between himself and then Tolani Bart currently.
Well, whatever it is, you people need to settle your differences. But then, if it's regards this 1 million naira, babe, you should now do the...
She should forget about it.
Huh?
It's not easy. 1 million can do a lot.
So if
if
you loan me money now, you cannot forget it.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
You mean you are not sure? Okay.
I'm not sure. Let me think about it.
You think about it. Okay, no problem about that.
Yes.
So let's go straight to another story. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, so like 30 stories.
Honestly.
Would I say
Cake
building?
of the year.
Would I say building?
No, let's not call it building.
Well, we have the 30 story cake from
Vicky James.
Vicky James.
Yeah, I kind of like Vicky James. I feel like she's somebody that is never intimidated, regardless of how people drag her online. She's doing well for herself. If I'm going to describe her, I'll describe her in just one line. She's living. She doesn't care. If you drag her for one video today, tomorrow morning she'll post another video.
When I saw that cake, to me, it's not real.
Really?
I don't see it as a real cake. You have cakes that you have steps 1 to 30. people that are that are in this profession actually know that. But whatever it is,
Okay.
she broke a record of like having 30-story cake.
Exactly.
But and at the same time, I just feel this Priscilla Ojo actually.
Yeah. A wedding cake.
Her wedding cake actually made them to like, if Priscilla, my baby can do that,
do this, I can do better.
Can do better.
Yeah.
So I think that's just like an opening call for some of them to like, okay, I'll do elaborate one or
I mean, looking at the kind of person Vicky James is, she's like a very loud person. She likes to do her stuff, you know. She's
loud.
Not,
would you say loud person? I've never seen her to be like that.
Not loud in the sense of what
okay.
you're thinking. Loud in terms of a brand, you know, the things that she does for herself. Our wedding is was everywhere.
Yes,
I mean,
because
when
she
did
made
her
clothes
wedding.
for herself.
Exactly. So I'm talking about that loud. And then I also feel like she said the cake, she paid 18 million naira for that cake. I mean, that's a lot of money. Can you pay 18 million naira for a cake?
Behind the camera, you said something that you can do the same. But as for me,
I have the money.
But
really,
money,
I don't think I can spend 80 million naira on a cake. I mean, I can do a cake of 1 million naira.
But I wish we just need to look at the see 1, 2, 3. I'm counting though.
Honestly,
30, 18 kwa.
Honestly, I mean, kudos to the bakers, because I know, I mean, a lot of them must be on this project. It's a project. I mean, it's a project.
Purple. She to come and have a bite though.
It's well, but I just like what she's doing for herself. I mean, she's very good at what she does, and then she keeps putting herself out there. And she has a very inspiring story. I mean, I watched a story on YouTube one time, and then she said, you know, right from Majigule to Forbes, Vicky is a big name, a very big name.
Well, that's a confident heart or time to say our BYE on the segment. Of course, we thank you so much for being part of the show. But do not forget that you can listen, you can watch us, you can interact with us on dominion.org.ng, and of course you can follow us across all our social media platforms. That's Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, and LinkedIn at Dominion Broadcast, and on X at Dominion Cast. So on this note, we want to say our BYE on the program Daybreak Live. Thank you so much for letting us into your house this morning. But of course, what I will let you know, or what I will tell you this morning, is do what makes you happy most, irrespective of whatever anybody is saying. So my name is Pat Aito, saying have a wonderful day.
All right, thank you so much for being a part of the program this morning, Daybreak Live on Dominion Television. Do well to join us same time tomorrow, 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. as we bring you, more interesting and, of course, educative stories on this TV station, television station. And until then, my name is Odwayemi Adelakon, saying bye for now.
told me as at the last count, there are about 53 radio stations within the broadcast landscape alone. And I said, yes, why not? We are here to make a difference. I said something yesterday.